everybody, so nice to see your smiling faces. If you're new here, welcome. My name is AlexBeltran, and I talk about tips, I talk about tricks, and I talk about techniques and everything real estate lifestyle. So if you're in the real estate business, aspiring to join the real estate business, or you just want some guidance and references to everything that the real estate industry encompasses, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, or else, you're just kind of missing out. Let's jump into it. So the other day I was talking to a property manager that manages a multifamily, multi-purpose building. And I asked him, hey, so do you prefer working on the residential side or, do you prefer working on the commercial side of this building? And he said, hands down, the commercial side. So when I got back to my office, I bumped into a commercial real estate agent and I asked him, hey, do you prefer working with residential or commercial? And he said, hands down, commercial. So just to add a little bit of context to this, residential real estate agents tend to transition over to the commercial side, which is why I asked this commercial real estate agent if he liked working the residential side, because I knew he'd worked the residential side a couple years back. Let's get back to the video. So I asked myself, what area in real estate do I like to work in? I mean, commercial sounds very enticing, and I'm not gonna lie, I have thought about making the transition over to the commercial real estate side. Now, I doubt this is something I'll do anytime soon because there's a lot of goals that I wanna hit on the residential side of real estate, but I could definitely see myself transitioning over to the commercial side, whether it's as a real estate salesperson or as a real estate investor. So then I thought to myself, well then, what do real estate investors think about investing in residential versus commercial real estate? And this is where I got a huge mixed bag of answers. Now, to be completely fair, I only work with residential investors because I'm a residential real estate salesperson, but I still asked them what they thought about investing in commercial real estate. 3 of them told me that commercial real estate is something that they're actively looking into. 2 of them said that they'll take a look at commercial property, but they really don't know enough about it to make an educated decision. And 1 said, absolutely not. I will never invest in commercial real estate because the necessity for commercial is dwindling. And another 3 said that they want to integrate commercial property into their residential property, essentially making it a multifamily, multi-purpose complex. But those answers are coming from residential real estate investors. So I put on my comfiest shorts, I put on a nice t-shirt, made a fresh cup of green tea matcha because coffee's gross, and started looking up investors that specialize in the commercial market. And that's when I pretty much hit a wall because most commercial investors are actually large corporations. It's not just one individual, and it makes sense. Commercial real estate is very expensive and time consuming. There's a lot of legal hurdles that you have to go through, and generally speaking, you need a team of lawyers, accountants, and analysts when you're dealing with such large commercial projects. This is complete anecdotal evidence, but it began to look similar with residential real estate agents transferring over to commercial real estate. Once a residential investor hits the peak on the residential side, he transitions over to the commercial side. At least that's what it seemed like to me. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to look up commercial properties, but they aren't the easiest listings to find. Yes, you can go on individual commercial real estate websites or .loop, but there really isn't a Zillow or Redfin version of commercial real estate. Like I mentioned before, one of my investor clients said that the necessity for commercial real estate is dwindling. And then I thought to myself, well, by that logic, then the need for single-family residential properties are dwindling as well. I mean, after all, millennials are preferring to rent rather than to purchase a home. So I ended up going down that rabbit hole as to why that is the case. And after going down that rabbit hole, what I came up with is that both train of thought are myths. Yes, millennials are preferring to rent for a variety of reasons. Traumatization from the Great Recession, flexibility of living wherever you want, even though us millennials collectively barely travel, student loan debt, even price points. But what I notice is that most millennials actually think that the down payment is unobtainable. The real problem is that most people think that you need 20% down in order to get a house, when the reality is, with an FHA loan, you can actually put 3.5% down. And in my line of work of being a real estate agent, I talk to women all the time, and they all collectively say the same thing. They all want a house that they can raise their families in. So the necessity for single-family homes is there. And all the statistics point to the fact that millennials will catch up and eventually start purchasing more and more homes. Now for the commercial side, yes, malls are closing, old strip malls and shopping centers are barely being utilized, but that's just the surface level of commercial real estate. I mean, old malls are being repurposed. Amazon is buying them up in order to fulfill their shipping needs. Commercial also encompasses industrial properties. You know, like manufacturing, warehouses, power plants, wind farms, raw land. Commercial really goes into sectors of real estate that the common person doesn't think of or simply overlooks. Like the great Sherlock Holmes once said, there's nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact. Take a casual drive around your city and you'll see profitable commercial and residential properties everywhere. It's just that real estate as a whole is evolving. So I decided to compare the two from an investor's point of view, residential versus commercial. And depending on where you're at in your real estate investment career will dictate how you invest in real estate. A little bit of a side note, they are both real estate, but they are two completely different beasts. Ease of financing? Well, residential ends up taking the cake. You really can't beat that 3.5% down FHA loan. Now, the caveat to that particular loan is that you have to live on the property. But with that said, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes all qualify for the FHA loan. And the potential income that is produced by the remaining units gets added to your overall income as well to help you obtain that loan. Yes, your payments will be higher and you'll have to pay a PMI or private mortgage insurance, but it's still a great way to get your foot into the real estate investor's door. I mean, you can always refinance later on down the line. Commercial real estate, on the other hand, tends to have much higher interest rates, and the fees to acquire the loan add up very quickly, which it becomes very apparent as to why it's usually major corporations that are purchasing commercial property. I even tried calling a couple of lenders that specialize in commercial real estate loans, and man, those guys are elusive. So if you're a commercial real estate lender, please contact me down below. I'd love to chat with you. So utilization of the properties. Residential real estate is high utilization. Apartments and homes will always be either for rent or for sale. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to live somewhere. It is a need after all. On top of that, getting building permits for residential real estate is relatively straightforward. Unless you're building from the ground up, possibly obstructing someone else's view, or overbuilding for the neighborhood, generally speaking, the city will grant you permits once the inspectors sign off on the matter. When it comes to commercial, you're going to have to go through a lot of legal hurdles, especially if you're building from the ground up. Take a football stadium, for example. Those are major commercial real estate projects. Locals have to vote on the sound ordinance. Can the existing road infrastructure accommodate the increase in traffic that the stadium will cause? Can the soil handle the weight of the structure? And what does building this stadium do to the local wildlife? The list can go on and on. Or prisons. What's that old saying? Not in my backyard. A lot of these investors end up spending a lot of money on the due diligence portion before they ever buy the properties. Because what's the point of buying a property if you can't complete the project? Yes, those are huge projects and not all commercial properties need that much legwork. But this is to give you an idea of what you're going to have to look for when investing in commercial real estate. When it comes to prices, obviously it varies from region to region, but generally speaking, residential real estate prices are much cheaper than commercial prices, which allows beginner investors to start investing in real estate via residential real estate. Now, would I invest in commercial real estate? At the level that I'm at currently, I can only do residential real estate. I don't have that level of resources just yet. But once I've paid my dues and scaled up to the point where jumping into commercial real estate is possible for me, then absolutely that will be my next step. Now, this isn't to say that I'm just going to pass on everything commercial. So if you're out there and you happen to have a great commercial property that you want me to check out, I will gladly do that because at the end of the day, I geek out on everything real estate. So question of the day, if you're already investing in commercial real estate, how is that going for you? And what type of commercial real estate are you investing in? Go ahead and comment in the comment section down below. So that is it for this video, folks. If you found this video informative or entertaining, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to keep up to date with everything that I'm doing in real estate, go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram. Catch you guys next week. Peace.